FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
And we came out with an answer. I won't go into all the details, but it actually is a dual strategy to bring energy into your car. The first is the longest extension cable on Earth. It connects the grid that brings electricity to your home and your work and to downtowns everywhere to the parking lot. It's the last foot that was missing. In a sense, wherever we park a car, we will have a charge spot. So that when you stop your car, you plug your car in, and when you come back to your car, magic happens. It's always full. It's not a very high-end magic because it's called the socket. We've seen it in the home. It's a very secure one. We make sure that kids can't get electrons into their body using the same cable, and we make sure that we know how to flatten the curve on loading so that when all the cars plug in at 8 o'clock in the morning, lights still stay on in the building because we flatten the curve and who gets to charge when. But by the end of the day, what we created is an edge to the existing grid that makes sure we can charge all cars so that when you come back to your car, it is always full. Imagine that contract with BP or Chevron or Exxon, that whenever you park your car, there'll be a truck that will zoom in and fill you up. That would be a good contract, right? That means we need to solve for the other situation, the exception, which is the long drive. The drive that I go more than 200 kilometers and I don't want to stop and charge for about 2 hours, which is what today's electric vehicles have asked you to do. Because if you stop and charge for an hour or 2 hours, that's a bus ride, that's not a car ride. If you do it every 200 kilometers, it's annoying. And if it's annoying, it's not convenient, and so you will not even consider buying that car. And so we figured out the second way to put energy into the car is to switch the battery. We actually took that technology from about 2 centuries ago. When you wanted to take a horse ride from one place to another, you would go on the carriage, your horses would ride really, really fast, you would get to a stop, they'll switch the horses, and you keep going. Instead of feeding them and waiting for about 4 or 5 hours for them to rest so that they can keep going. And so what we figured out is we need to switch the battery. How do you switch the battery? You come into a station, it looks like car wash, your depleted battery goes out, a full battery comes in, and you keep driving. That machine, which we imagined 2 years ago, has actually been engineered and demonstrated in Japan 2 months ago, and the amount of time it takes to do that entire switch, entry to exit, is 40 seconds. You sit in your car, your dashboard becomes a retail spot so you can order your sandwich and your bottle of Coke, and when you come out a minute later, you're on the road again. So if you want to go 600 kilometers, you need to do 2 stops. They'll take you 2 minutes. It's actually shorter than the one gas station. And if you're driving with kids, you'd actually need to stop at least 2 more times for the other tank we can take care of. In other words, we have given you more convenience than gasoline. How often would you stop to switch the battery? Probably 10, 15 times a year. Less than the number of times you will stop for gas. It's the times you will drive more than 200 kilometers one stop, non-stop. How many minutes would you spend? Less than 5. The combination of the two, charge spots plus gas stations, costs roughly the same amount of money to build for a country or a region as gas stations used to cost for cars. In other words, the cost of distribution of energy is less than the cost of distribution for petrol today.